Hey, Facebook and TikTok.
Yeah, we're double teaming it today.
I'm Renee with True Crime with Renee. This is my husband, Steve.
Yeah, it's whatever.
And the jewelry behind me is all from paparazzi. We will post a comment later of the website if you're interested. Today we're going to talk about Bernard Giles. He's a serial killer.
Sick and twisted serial killer.
Mm-hmm. Bernard Giles was born in 1953 to really good parents.
Let's make really wealthy home, like rich, especially back then, rich.
Mm-hmm. Their family was really liked and respected by the community at large, and he attended school. He had a few successes. Then he was absent a lot, so he ended up dropping out in 6th grade. He married his 17-year-old wife. Soon came the baby. And that's when he went on his murder spree. At home.
Say hi to Dennis real quick because he's watching us on TikTok. What's up, Denny? Sorry.
So, at home, apparently his wife had a really strict household, so he was stressed a lot. Because he dropped out of high school, he ended up training to be an electrician. And so,
you gotta watch those electricians.
Right?
They're as bad as plumbers.
Okay, so I'm sure his job was really stressful. And then coming home to a baby and not sleeping and all that becomes stressful as well. But anyway.
Sorry, we gotta go through notes.
Yeah.
We memorize stuff, but it doesn't work out too well.
Not too far from his home, he picked up women that were hitchhikers.
Basically, he picked up women that weren't going to be missed. That's kind of how that works out.
And within a 12-week period, he raped and murdered 5 women. There's more, supposedly, but only 5 to be proven.
In other words, he's a busy little beaver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He drove these women to an orange grove. This is in Florida, by the way. Sorry. Raped these women at gunpoint, then killed them. He returned to his wife and told like nothing ever happened.
See, now we want to delve into that too, because a lot of these serial killers, they have to have that semblance of normalcy, because they want to be able to go back and project, hey, I'm Joe Blow next door. I'm not gonna, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's their way of trying to manage not to get caught, because you always hear it in the news. Hey, my neighbor Jeffy over here, sweet, quiet guy, always, family man, everything like that, and you find out he killed 23 women.
The sweetest guy.
Yeah, it's how it always happens. So a lot of these serial killers had families at home. Some of them didn't, but a lot of serial killers have a wife and children and the dog, the whole white picket fence thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what keeps them able to continue doing what they're doing. It helps them to avoid detection. So, sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there.
I also wanted to throw out the point about some serial killers that say they had really horrible childhood. With this guy, he really had it all. Like, being wealthy, had a really good family life. There was no abuses of any kind, supposedly. And he just
snapped.
I don't think he snapped. I think he just didn't have the empathy, taught empathy or...
Yeah. And if you notice from a lot of wealthy families, a lot of the children are just kind of like, oh, you bother me, get off me, that type of thing. They're only empathic towards their money. You know, this kid I don't think was he was a little bit different, but he still has no conscience, no empathy, no anything towards anybody.
There was an interview with Piers Morgan a while back, and if you watch him, he has barely any recognition to the people that care for him. He told his victims in court that he could say sorry, but it wouldn't sound like it meant anything.
It wouldn't be sincere.
So it's not. I don't think that he wasn't sorry because he said he wished he didn't kill his victims. I don't think he wasn't sorry. I just think that
But he didn't say anything about raping them, you know.
Right.
Yeah. We'll go ahead and do that. I feel bad for killing him afterwards.
Right. I don't know what to say about that, but I'm just saying, like, it goes a lot when you're talking about serial killers. A lot of times you hear all the horrible childhood stories and parents always being abusive or their caregivers in some sort have been abusive to them in some way. So this guy literally had nothing going on there, and he just didn't have any empathy for anything. When they talked about his child, he was asked how he liked it if his child was raped and killed. He basically said, I don't know what to do with that. And on top of it, he said, I wouldn't appreciate it, but he wouldn't, it didn't mean anything to him, basically. That his own child, didn't mean anything.
Be right back, guys.
So, that's kind of what we're talking about here. That some of the normal serial killer stuff didn't apply to this guy. Not at all. And like I said, he killed close to home. He was all about urge, and he felt compelled, supposedly, to do this. And some of us can't understand that, and that's fine. But he actually related his killings to shopping, which is funny because I'm a shopaholic. You can't tell.
Crazy shopaholic. It's for all of it.
I just don't understand. I don't.
It's a compulsion. I mean, they're still trying to figure out what compels people to do this, but it's a compulsion in your brain. It's no different than somebody saying, hey, I need to go get a cup of coffee, for these guys to go, oh, I need to go rape and murder somebody. So there's not much of a difference when it comes to the compulsion side of your brain. These guys obviously take it a step farther than I need to go get a cup of coffee. They take it out in violent and extreme ways. I know people are violent when they don't have their coffee, but but still, it's kind of I haven't really, I don't think I've really seen anybody kill anybody yet. So yeah, we have dogs too. So yeah, they kind of like running around. No, that's what it is. It's a compulsion with these guys. Any serial killer you talk to, any serial killer that's been interviewed by the FBI in any way, shape, or form, is, oh yeah, I felt the need to do it. I had to do it. Whether it was the little green men in their head telling them to do it, or whether it was just some short circuit in their brain saying, hey, you have to do this in order to be a viable part of humanity. You've got killers that kill because they say, oh, God told me to do it, or something like that. Unfortunately, I don't think that was the case with this guy. I think he was just a sick and twisted individual. Of course, that's my opinion. My opinion doesn't express the views of everybody, but
exactly.
You study enough of these guys, and we've studied quite a few of these cases. We've studied quite a few of these things, and it always seems to come down to the same thing. It's always compulsion. It's always I have to do this or I can't survive. It's always about a survivability thing with a lot of these guys. If you look at Bundy, he was he got physically ill if he didn't kill people. So it's all psychosomatic, but the psychosomatic turns on that in your body.
I have to kill.
Yeah,
I have to kill
and
now.
it turns that on in your body to go, hey, I have to do this, or I'm gonna make you sick, or something like that. Anyways, we're getting off topic. Sorry, that's for another
Also,
show.
another interesting tidbit. When he was talking to Piers Morgan, he also mentioned the euphoric state to the point where he said that he could see an atom splitting, which was a little interesting the way he equated that. So, just saying.
New thing.
His escalation. He was gradually but quickly escalating in his killings with only 24-hour rest. Like, he was killing basically every other day.
Yeah.
So
he went from killing, once every 2 weeks. He went from killing every other 2 weeks, to killing every other day.
And that's
usually what gets him caught.
Really, really, like, large jump.
Yeah.
So, like I said, he killed these 5 women, and there's supposedly more. But like I said,
he was only convicted of 5.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm trying to get my thought.
You're right there.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so I totally missed what I was going to say, but I'll go on. In later talk, like therapists talking to him, he was basically saying that he just had to have these things go on, and he didn't care about getting caught. He didn't care about if anybody saw him do these things. Driving him out to a field would suggest that you want to hide your crime, but that's just me.
Basically, he was trying to hide in plain sight.
Right.
Essentially.
He found 2 girls. This is where the escalation jumps. He apparently needed it so bad that he ended up getting 2 girls, and they were teenage girls. And he picked them up, and he took them to the orange grove, and he tried to get these girls, and they fought back, which apparently he was not used to. And he tried to shoot them, but the gun jammed. And one of the girls had noticed inside the car his name on an envelope, and that's how he ended up being caught. He was only able to avoid the death penalty through pleading guilty. He basically was saying that it was his life passion to kill. Very much like a shopper, if you passion to shop or passion to sell, whatever you want to do in life, that's what he was equating his killing to. And he always was looking for a new opportunity and tried to take advantage of those opportunities at any cost. And like I said he wished he never killed his victims, but that's as far as the sympathy went.
Basically, he didn't plan on any of these killings. They weren't premeditated. They were, I guess in today's words, they would be called crimes of, what's the word I'm looking for? Opportunity.
Oh, yeah.
Just an opportunity. He was an opportunistic killer. He wasn't like, oh, I'm stalking these girls for, months on end like some of these serial killers do. So we might as well bring Rebel up and introduce her. This is our pug. This is the true crime pug. Yeah. See, there's the true crime pug. She's like, yeah, I'm all over it. Daddy's here. So Yeah.
Also, another thing to add to the story is he took pleasure in the whole process. It wasn't just like a certain, section of the process that he was getting off on. He was literally getting in the car, driving out of the driveway, finding those hitchhikers, getting them in the car, raping them at gunpoint, mind you, and then trying to shoot them.
Mm-hmm.
So he got off on the whole process. The whole thing excited him. Some serial killers talk about how they only have one section of their.
It's the chase or the whatever. This guy got off on the whole thing.
Yeah.
He got off on the whole kit and caboodle. But that's what I mean. That's why he's labeled one of the most opportunistic killers, because he didn't plan these out. He saw somebody and said, "Okay, that's who I'm going for." He saw somebody alone. The crimes were very, very opportunistic. If that girl had had a guy walking with her while she was hitchhiking, she'd still be alive.
Mm-hmm.
If she would have had another person with her in the beginning, she would still be alive. So he was very just, I'm going to jump on this. And again, he went after girls that people probably weren't going to miss, or he assumed people weren't going to miss, because, they're hitchhiking. They're obviously running away from something, But what got him up was the two teenage girls, because, that's the thing. Like with any other bully, you fight back and they're going to retreat. And that's exactly what happened. That's what got his ass caught. So.
He, in the Piers Morgan interview, talked about how the killing was an opportunity to get away from his daily stress, and that's how he relieves his stress, is by killing. 5 years after he was incarcerated, he escaped with a few fellow inmates, and then was charged with being what that
An escapee.
Yeah.
But see, this knucklehead pled guilty to avoid the death penalty.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
He also was very narcissistic in thinking that his victims were a way of being in service to him. Basically, like, he only thought of you as a way to meet the end. I don't know.
Yeah.
Very non-emotional, very nonchalant. Like, it was very sickening to watch. Even when they were talking about his daughter.
And unlike most serial killers, like, there was nothing ritualistic about this. Most serial killers have a ritual they go through. This dude was just like, "Hey, you're here. I'm getting you. Let's go." Mm-hmm. Which, speaking from a law enforcement standpoint, those are the hardest guys to catch, because there's no method, there's no MO, there's no anything to try to find these guys. You get lucky, and that's exactly what happened. That's the reason they caught this guy, is because they got lucky.
But on a therapeutic note, he's talking about how hard it would be to catch this guy. On a therapeutic note, he was too immature.
Right.
To care.
To care if he got caught. He didn't care if he got caught.
So, like, he would do things, obviously, like, mistake-wise, to get himself caught. I'm sure, like, it might have been part of the excitement in some way, but I don't know.
And of course, back in the 50s, they didn't have DNA. They didn't have any of that stuff. Nowadays, you look at something and you leave your DNA. So it's serial killers are less prevalent today. However, it's a statistical fact, an FBI statistical fact. At any given time, there's 10 to 12 serial killers active in the United States at any one time. So, just
that's another story.
That's a whole other thing. One of these days we'll get into VICAP statistics and all that stuff. But that's a little too boring for our first live. So yeah.
Well, that was our story for today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you very soon. Thank you.
We'll try to set up one of these maybe once a week or so. We're just starting out on this, like we said, so we'll have to figure out what day of the week is good, and we'll start getting into the habit of getting this done. This was kind of spur of the moment thing, so hence the notes and everything. Like I said, we try to we try to memorize stuff, but we're not all that good at it yet. So we're not actors. We're not, we're just a couple working stiffs. This is what we do. But true crime has always intrigued us. We've been murder porn addicts since we got together. Before they called it murder porn.
I liked it way before I met him.
Yeah, absolutely. I was into it too. So anyways, thank you guys very much for hanging out with us. And
I hope to see you
hope to
soon.
see you guys soon. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.